everybody and welcome back to another On The Table video, guys. Well, it's not really on the table, it's more like let's build a Reaver Titan. It's the first official episode of Let's Build a Reaver Titan. So, what have I done so far? Well, what have I done to kick off the project, should I say? Well, in my last video I mentioned that I'd cleaned up all the bits in regards to I've washed them in warm soapy water. I've also trimmed off a lot of the flashing off most of the actual components. Some of the smaller ones, some of the smaller bits still have a little bit of flashing, but I'm doing that as and when I get to them. But first things first, as I did with the Warhound Titan, I decided I wanted to start with the crew. And as you can see, here are the crew, guys. Well, 3 of them anyway. 3 out of 4, or should I say 3 out of 5? You'll find out what the other 2 crew are later on. In fact, you'll probably already know which one the other crew is, because the other crew member is, because I showed you in the last video. But anyway, I digress. These are the crew. These are the pilots that sit in the actual cockpit. And I've done the cockpit as well. I'll show you that one in just a second as well. Very similar. In fact, I'm pretty much sure these are identical, especially these guys here are identical to the Warhound Titan crew. Painted them up exactly the same. Was nice to do, you know, there's lots of little details on there. They look quite nice. I didn't quite go into as much detail as I did on the Warhound crew because the way these guys kind of sit in the cockpit, you can't really see them that well. So I thought to myself, you know, there's no point, you know, paint what you see, basically. There is a slight difference with the Princeps for the Reaver, and I'm just trying to undo my Warhound box with one hand so I can get the Warhound head out for you guys, so I can kind of show you guys the similarities between the two. Let me just flip the carapace off. So as you can see, here is the Warhound Princeps, here is the Reaver Princeps. Slightly different, and I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of like the Warhound Princeps a little bit better. His throne appears to be just a little bit, I don't know, it looks a little bit cooler. I like his cuirass as well, rather than the like the armor plating that the Reaver Princeps has. Really good. Although details in them are both fairly nice, fairly crispy, and you know, fairly detailed in regards to what there is to paint there. Yeah, so that's the crew. I'll show you the difference between the actual head, the cockpits as well in just a second. So that's the crew. What I've did. Literally painting them exactly like the Warhound crew, because I imagine that all the kind of like Princeps and Moderati and pilots and staff for the Titans would all kind of wear a similar kind of uniform. So that's one thing that I did. In regards to the actual head, here is the, I'll just put my hand in paint. Here is the Reaver head. I like to start with the head because it's just a nice place to start in regards to, it gives you a really nice feel for the rest of the miniature. As you can see, we got cockpit going on there, we got some little writing and stuff on the little screens and things. Obviously my freehand isn't that good, so I can't actually physically do writing, but I thought to myself, I'll have the illusion of something there anyways. And also in regards to some of the dials and stuff and the actual stuff in the cockpit, these little circle bits are actually supposed to be little gauges. However, they're so small, I have not got a hope in hell's chance of painting them. My hand isn't that steady, and I don't have a brush thin enough to be able to do the little dials and things, so I kind of painted them to reciprocate the interior of the, oh shit, the bed, can't fucking, there we go, need to zoom out. I kind of painted the inside of that cockpit to reciprocate the inside of the Warhound cockpit there. And we got some cool little differences. We got some little keyboards and stuff, as well as some little like slidey controls as well. These slidey controls are really cool. I like these. Nice little bit of extra detailing, like nice little bit of extra texture. But as you can see, the pilot, he just sits in there like this, and then the 2 other, oh, got a load of blue tack attached to that one. The other 2 Moderati or pilots or crewmen, however you want to say. I think they're Moderati. I could be wrong. If you want to correct me in the doobly-doo, please feel free. Yeah, so they got those guys sitting there. And one of the cool things about the Reaver cockpit, the Reaver head, that I quite like is it kind of looks like a mechanical turtle. Just a little bit. I would really like to talk. I mean, one day, you know, if I go to Forge World, I might try and track down the original designer of the Reaver if he still works there. I might ask him what was the inspiration behind the actual Reaver head, because it really doesn't look. I mean, the Reaver as a whole doesn't look. Well, it looks kind of odd, and I never used to like it, believe it or not. But it's kind of grown on me a lot over the years. It kind of looks like a weird, like, mutant turtle, I think, with this like kind of like squashed head. The fact that it's kind of gangly, it's very, very leggy. And it's got like it's just got a weird body proportions, but cool nonetheless. You might be wondering what these little holes are here. Well, they're the magnets, because I magnetised the carapace, so that fits on there like that. Perfect. And there's no movement in that whatsoever. That's pretty much on there once the magnets are engaged. You might be wondering why, again, there's bigger magnets here, smaller magnets there, and it's because I didn't want to, with the Warhound, I nearly drilled through the carapace when I was putting the magnets in this side of it. So I wanted some thinner, smaller magnets in this bit here where I've got less material to play with. That way I wouldn't have any issues or any dangers of it drilling all the way through and ruining the carapace completely. Speaking of the carapace, it's going to be my candy green that I do, and you know, that's going to tie it into my knights, and it's going to tie it into the other titan that I have, and it's going to look really cool, especially when I have another Warhound. So I'll have the start of a small titan mana pool, which will be really cool. I'm going to obviously do this in the bronze. Same as my Warhound, and that's going to look really nice when it's done, although not looking forward to doing these vents. That's going to be a pain in the arse, otherwise to not get any other paint on this green here. So that's that. Some of the little bits and bobs that I did, I actually started with the interior piece for the main hull. So these are the side sections of it, so these basically line up like this. The components are basically the back panel here, and then 1, 2, 3 individual components. As you can see, they literally just fit in like this, with a little bit of coaxing and a little bit of persuasion. They just fit in like that, and that's pretty much in there. Now I don't even need to glue that bit in. It's kind of just press fit and stuck itself in there. I mean, that's not coming out no matter what now. But yeah, you get these little bits here, and you can put these two bits in any order. So I kind of just add it like that, so it mirrors when it's like that. You know, just because I like symmetry. Why not? But yeah, they're really, really cool little pieces. One of the slightly annoying things about it is the fact that they are the same. It would have been nice to include some additional panels just to make the inside of it look a little bit unique, and maybe some different servitors, because as you can see here, guys, the servitors are literally just carbon copies of each other. It's a little bit annoying, really, because, you know, it detracts from the actual miniature itself in regards to making it just look a little bit, you know, less unique, I suppose. So, but anyway, I digress. So the little trials and tribulations I had with these particular parts. You might notice here that these little nubs here haven't been painted, and that's because I had to sand them down. Basically, guys, if I just get the main hull, this is literally just push fitted together. With the main hull here, let's have a look. So these guys fit in here like this and like this. So they fit down the side of the actual interior hull, and then you have the top carapace, which is here. Now the top carapace has this whole chunk inside it, which has another servitor in. Now this bit was actually just a little bit too wide for this, and what was happening was, I don't know if you guys can see, but it was catching on the middle bit. So now it kind of does fit very, very snugly, and there's a little bit of play in regards to this being able to slide on and slide off. Still not sure exactly where I'm going to magnetise this, if I am going to magnetise it indeed, because there's actually no flat contact points for this. There's literally these slides here. This little tiny lip is the most amount of contact the top carapace has with the top hull, and it's a little bit annoying because I wanted to magnetise the whole thing fully, but we're going to have to find out another solution on there. Another thing I did with these parts as well, these required again a little bit more shaping, because if you guys look down, I'll whack my elbow again. If you guys look down here, you see there's like a little groove here, this little channel that's been cut down the side. Now that has a reciprocating part here. However, this bit, again, I don't think it was cast, well, I think it was cast right, but I don't think that it was cast in proportion to this here. So what I had to do, I had to go in there with a rotary tool and I had to hog off loads of extra material, and this is terrible. This is really terrible in regards to how jaggy the line is, but as a result it did actually work, and it does now sit flush on both accounts. I had to do it with both of them. It sits flush there, and that's just waiting to be glued in after I've painted the rest of the interior. So let me put those to the side. I have to do some little touch-ups on that shortly. The actual, again, the whole hull is a lot. Oh, excuse me, just hiccuped. Is only a touch bigger than the Warhound's hull, and I mean a touch bigger by it's probably maybe about 2 inches bigger. As for a lot of other stuff, also on my cast, this was really misshapen. This is supposed to be a hatch, but I've had to kind of like stuff a load of green stuff in there. Now, luckily, this is the back end here, and this bit is mostly in shadow when you have the engine cowling and the engine blocks on the back of it. So what I can do, I can actually have my tech priest sat right about here, and it'll actually completely disguise this horrible mess over here, and you'll never even know that it's like that. But anyway, that's all I've kind of got done so far. I've spent about a day on it so far, guys. So hopefully, by the end of, well, probably by mid next month, but probably I'd say in about 5 to 6 weeks, this will probably be sorted and be done, and I'll be able to display it proudly next to my my Warhound, and then think about getting another Warhound Titan. Although that being said, I've not actually even attempted to start the legs yet, so that could spell trouble because legs are quite difficult. Although I've been told that the Reaver model is a lot more forgiving on the leg assembly than the Warhound, with the Warhound being entirely sculpted by hand, whereas the Reaver was actually designed with 3D AutoCAD in mind, so the parts fit a little bit better, although not on the upper hull apparently. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the time being. Let me know what you think of this Reaver so far. Do you guys have any Titans? What's your favourite Titan? Let me know in the comments and the doobly-doo down below. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page. Don't forget to check out the Instagram. All links are down there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. See you now, and goodbye.